How are we all? I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to my channel and to a video I've been very excited to film. I actually filmed a video just like this last year and it went down really well, so I thought I'd film it again this year with some slight changes, tweaks, things I do differently. So it's going to be how to set your table for your Christmas dinner, or if you're going to have a Christmas Eve at your house, a Christmas party, that kind of thing. Yeah, this is going to be essentially how I'm going to do it. I'm not actually hosting Christmas this year, but I thought this would just be really useful as some handy tips and inspiration, just some things that you could do to give your table a little bit of that wow factor. Obviously our table is in our living room, so when you walk in, it's just nice to be greeted with something festive. So yeah, I'm going to run through everything you're going to need, and this is just how I'm going to do it. There are so many different ways you can set a table for Christmas. You don't even have to set a table, you can just pile all the food on the table, people can grab a plate and help themselves. I just really like to do it. I just think it adds a little bit of certain special sparkle to the day. So yeah, I'm going to run through everything you're going to need and then let's get into it. Now we've gone through everything you're going to need. I always start off with foliage. I think a little bit of greenery, just a little bit, adds a certain special, a special touch to your table. So this is actually what I picked up ages ago in a flower market super close to where we live, and it's lasted. It's brilliant. It's what we've used on the fireplace. It's what I've made a wreath out of, and it's still so green and vibrant. So I've got a mix of some Christmas, just classic Christmas tree clippings, and then also just some green foliage. So I'm not going to use a ton because I think I did go a bit crazy last year. However, I think some clippings are actually really nice. So grabbing some really nice scissors, just take some cuts of foliage. You can be, you can have really big branches if you'd like, or you can just keep it super subtle. It's whatever, floats your boat, as I say. But some substantial clippings will be really good. Like the ends look fab, so I'm just going to trim all of these off. Of course, you can go foraging for this as well if you would like. Foraging is so fun this time of year, especially when it starts to get cold, because you can have a little rummage around, maybe have a hot drink. If you've got a dog, go out for a walk with them. So this is really nice. So yeah, I'm just taking some larger clippings and some slightly smaller ones. Let's pop those on there, do like a larger one there. When you're setting a table, visuals are important, but also sensory experiences. Obviously the food is going to smell good, but if you've got decorations that actually have a natural smell to them, so we're going to be using this Christmas tree, which smells so nice, and then also we're going to use some orange and some rosemary. It's a real classic Christmas scent. I feel like that should be enough to start off with. I can add more if I need to. So you can actually lie a table runner down, a tablecloth. I'm just going to keep this as it is. This is just our table. We've had a bit of a change from last year, so it's slightly bigger, so we've got more room to play with. But what I tend to do is pile all the foliage into the middle and then work from the outside in, just so we can get a sense of scale. So using the sharper cuts with the ends, point those outwards on either side and then just build in, so you can just, really have fun with this. These slightly larger pieces of foliage as well, you can just give those a little, some scissors. Perfect, and then just intertwine those two. It's just all about adding depth, I think, with a table. Really only will start to come together when you start adding your plates and whatnot. So just don't think about it too much, just kind of place this in and around. And using the slightly sharper spikes, you can just spike that foliage in and around too. There we are. So that's the middle of the table done. Like I said, you can go as high as you'd like. You can add different scents. You could do eucalyptus. You could even add some flowers if you'd like. But I think that as a base is really nice, and it's a good foundation for what's to come. So next up, I'm going to go in with these placemats. Now, these are new this year. I got these from John Lewis. I featured them in a video recently. They're like a jute Hessian style placemat. And I just think like the natural fibres of this really go with like the natural setting of the foliage. And I just love them. Yes, they're quite large actually. So what you do is place them on your table and kind of like tuck them under the green. So yeah, just slot them in, your foliage around them. I do foliage first, just as I said, it almost acts as like a frame for your table. So that is perfect. And as I've always said, if you have a larger table, you're lucky. So there we go, that's set for 4. Obviously, if you're doing more, you can add more. If people sat in the ends, you can just squidge the foliage in. Next up, because we have a wood table with Hessian, I thought something to contrast it. I actually am going to use the chargers from last year. So these are actually from Poundland, believe it or not. They're just like a silver table charger. Again, not an essential. I just think it adds that next like level of depth. So you can just pop those on. So you just get the Hessian popping through, and then obviously the chargers can just sit on top, like that. Next up, we're going to go in with plates. These are just the dinner plates that we had from last year again. And just place those directly on top of the table chargers. Again, if you are more inclined to serve in the kitchen and bring the plates out, then of course you can just leave these blank. I really like setting the table with the plates. I just think it adds a nice, you know, nice thing to look at. And then I'm going to pop a side plate on top too. There we are. Next up, I'm going to do napkins. Now, again, these are new this year. I picked these up. These are the napkin rings. They're from John Lewis, and they're like an iridescent, slightly brushed silver with little imperfections on them. I just thought they were really nice. So they're the napkin rings we're going to use, and I'm actually not going to go for traditional white this year. I felt like something a little bit more neutral would be lovely. So these are some linen, like grey napkins. So what I do is kind of fold them into a triangle like this, grab a pinch point, and then just pull it through the napkin ring like that. So it's got like this really nice, like relaxed vibe about it, nothing too fancy. If you do have tags on the end, you can just tuck those under. And I'm just going to place those directly on top of the setting. And these don't actually match. We've got 2 that match and 2 that don't. So honestly, it does not matter at all, because once they're folded up, you can just drag them through and no one will know. And it's actually quite nice to know how things match. Same again. Next, we're going to add in candles. I think candles and Christmas almost go hand in hand. It's like, it's a match made in heaven. So I'm going to go in with 4 candelabras, which might look like a lot. However, I picked these up at a car boot sale, and they're really quite thin, non-obtrusive, and I've got some half-burn candles, so they're going to be perfect to just slot in the table like that. And then these are some taper candles from H&M Home in a taupey grey colour, so I thought they'd be really nice too. So I'm going to pop those in the slightly larger candelabras and place them on the table. So now that your candles are in place, the next thing we're going to go in with are these pine cones. Now these are huge pine cones. Again, I picked these up at the flower market. And again, I just think these add a really lovely texture to the table. Obviously, you don't want to go too crazy. Still want to leave space for guests to, you know, pop drinks, that kind of thing, sauces. But I'm going to pop one here, that'll stand up. And then another one maybe here. Another scented element, I've got a dried orange here that I'm just going to place on top. And then a slightly smaller pine cone, I'm just going to pop that on the end there. Next up, we're going to go in for clementines. So these are lovely clementines, and they've actually got the greenery on them too, which I think is just such a lovely touch and really will add a nice, you know, fragrance to the table. You can stud these with cloves if you'd like. That's a really nice option. We're going to slot those in too, just add a lovely pop of colour. Next up, we're going to go for cutlery, and I just think placing it on the side is the easiest with this. So we do knife, fork and spoon, and just make sure that they're all the same height. Always serve to the right of your plate. That was kind of what I got taught in restaurants and whatnot. So yeah, that's the cutlery all done. Then we're going to add some glassware to the table. So these are both new glasses. These rocks glasses here are from John Lewis, which I just absolutely love them. I think they're so nice. I'm going to use those for water. And then these are flat-bottomed wine glasses, perfect for red or white wine, and they were from Asda. So I'm going to pop one of each next to the cutlery setting. I have these paper cardboard trees from Sass & Bell. And we've actually got these in our hallway, but I thought they'd be really nice to pop on the table, just as a bit of extra height. So I'm going to pop one on the end there, and then one on the other end there. And then finally, as I said, all about sensory experiences. This is fresh rosemary. So I'm just going to do some small clip-ins and pop one sprig per setting on the table, just in the napkin ring. I just think that'd be such a nice touch and add a really lovely fragrance to the table. Right, that is everything done. The last thing is to do is to light the candles, and then we can show you the finished result. That's it, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. I look forward to making this every year, and it's a lot. It is a lot, but it's Christmas, and if you can't do a lot of Christmas, then when can you? I'll leave everything linked that I've used down below if it's still available, or if not, I'll try and find some alternatives for you. But I really hope you've enjoyed this one, and have a lovely Merry Christmas, whoever you have around the table. That's the most important thing. How it looks is second important. Thank you so much for watching. Love to you all. Merry Christmas, and I'll catch you all very soon. Bye for now.